It's the gift that keeps on giving. I made a video of this a few weeks ago. When this arrived, it worked perfectly. The charger was no good. Took me a lot of time and effort, but eventually I fixed the charger, only to discover that one battery was okay and one battery was no good. So I made a video of fixing the battery. Now look what happened. Nothing. Now literally a second ago I used this to undo something, and then I went to use it again and it wouldn't work. Obviously power's okay. I've got no reverse. My guess is either the switch has gone up the spout or a wire has fallen off. Now, not sure how we get. Oh, not sure how we get into it. It's full of screws on this side. Now, is that looks like it's part of the pivot mechanism, doesn't it? That one. That one, and that one for sure. It's unusual in that it's got what look like Phillips screws. I wonder if they're the Japanese Phillips. And what have I done with my Japanese Phillips screws? I think that's one of them. Screwdriver bit. Yeah, it feels like it could be the Japanese one. Yeah, that seems quite a good fit. We'll use a DeWalt. Want to go backwards. Take that out. Right, that's our pivot screw. It's a case screw. That's a case screw. Now, can we undo anything, or do we need to take the rest of that apart? Oh, it looks like this should come apart now, doesn't it? Oh, no, doesn't want to move. Oh, silly metal clip. 2 silly metal clips. Crikey. Oh, that one's fallen inside. There you are. One metal clip, and there's one this side. Don't often get 2. Oh, there's the other one. So there's our screws. Right, now let's have a look. Let's go from the other side. Right, is this going to lift off now? Yep, it is. Right, oh well, it could do with a little bit of a clean. There's our contacts for our battery. There's our little ball bearings that latch in there to give us a sort of slight click, click, click motion. That lifts out there, that lifts out there. There would suggest there's 2 more ball bearings this side, and there is. And then we've got a screw there, and it looks like to get to the switch we need, oh, we've got screws everywhere here, haven't we? Look, we've got all these, 1, 2, 3, 4 there, but we've also got one odd one this side. You wouldn't think you would need that. Well, we'll take that one out first. What's that holding? It might only be... no, I think we'll leave that one for a minute, because it might be that we don't need to do that one. We'll come back to that if we need to. It depends, because I'm pretty sure the only thing we need to look at is the switch, so if we don't have to disturb this, but obviously one side will have to be disturbed because we need to lift the plastic off. Come on. So that one will have to come off. Well, now they're so magnetic and that one wasn't. That's 3. That one wasn't so magnetic. Oh, it is now. Right, put those up there out of the way. Right, let's see what happens now. Any more silly clips anywhere? That's lifting a fraction. and that's lifting a fraction. Can't quite turn it with my finger outwards again. Right, here we go. So right. Oh look, that's our impact mechanism. Yeah, so that screw was holding our impact mechanism. Bit of greasy mess. Light. Switch. Switch for our light. Oop! Oh, and that's fallen out. And that's the switch for our light. So, and I'm getting greasy already. I think what we'll do is we'll get a cloth for that. Let's just put a bit of cloth that side so I don't get too covered in muck. So, yeah, so to look at that, we're going to have to take this side off anyway, aren't we? Because that's the only way we're going to be able to look at it. So we do need this off after all. So that's our other screw. Guaranteed gooey. Come on, why are you so tight? It's just a tight fit, is that the idea? Turn that round a bit. God, this is a tight fit. And everything I touch is all gooey. Let's have a look. Oh, that's not tight. I wondered if that was tight in there. That's not particularly tight. That's that locking part. So why don't you want to lift out then? Come on, lift up. No, it really doesn't want to lift up for some reason. Let's try and get... Oh! Oh, there we go. So there's our impact mechanism. That's the sort of lot of it. There we go. So I'll have to pull this out. There we go. I was going to say these parts need cleaning, but they don't particularly, do they? Because they're just a greasy mess. And they'll be a greasy mess as soon as they go back in. Right, so what have we got here? Does that lift off? Please don't tell me you're some weirdo switch. Right, I've put the battery back on, and then if you listen, oh, just gonna be, that's working fine, but still nothing the other way. We've got a light that occasionally comes on, so presumably we've got power. Seems to be something to do with this switch, which is what we would have guessed in the first place. So unplug that. Got to try and find out how to get into the switch, and it is a stupid switch. I was hoping it wouldn't be, but it looks like it is, because it looks like the switch is there and it's on the circuit board, and that is always bad news, because nearly every time I come across this sort of situation, the switch is something you can't buy. Right, I'll see how this lockout mechanism works now. I thought the lockout originally was for the handle, but it's not, it's for the buttons. When that's forward, the buttons can be pressed, but when that's moved forward to there, or back to there, depending how you look at it, the buttons now can't be pressed. You can't press down either way. So that's what that does, it locks and unlocks the switch. But I still haven't found out how this comes off. It looks... yeah, I'm fairly sure you've got to bend the switch to actually get that plastic top off. It looks like you would have to pop that over that way, and then this one like that. There you can see it fitted in there, so that's just bent out a little bit. Let's push that back, and then it looks like this switch is literally that. You've got virtually no movement on it at all. I'd like to get this motor off so I can see what's going on. It looks like it's just twist and pull, because I've twisted it and pulled. Whether pulling would have worked on its own, I'm not sure. But that's motor off. Well, I'm just going to double check it's not the motor being unable to spin, but I think that's very unlikely. So I've got, it's just here single 18650, so that's half its normal voltage. But if I go that way, motor's fine, and if I swap that one over to that way, so we're in business. It can run both ways, so we don't have to worry about that. Right, I've just been fiddling with this, and it looks like you can lever this side up, the sort of latch part, and then that will lift off, so we can get that part off, and it slides backwards and forwards and locks it. That lifts up a fraction. Will that slide out now? It's lifted up. And I think they've put glue on it, or maybe just varnish. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it looks like a bit of, I don't know, silicone, glue, something like that. Right, but that's come, so it's in that slot, round there, in that slot, a little bit more goo, and then that's out. So that's only attached to the circuit board now. So yeah, I guess this is glued this side as well. That's why this didn't want to pop out just now. Only this side's obviously excessively glued. Ouch, I've just stabbed myself with this. Oh, what are you on a... I think the glue... You get this sometimes, don't you? I think the glue is as strong as the plastic is. Oh, there we go. Now that's moved it. Right, and that can come out to there. Right, well, it's hard work, but if you get your fingernails on here and your fingernails on there and pull, the board will come upwards. So you didn't need to slide it back, it will actually lift upwards. It's just difficult to do. So that literally just slots down into there. And there we have it. We've got access to everything. Now we can test the switch. Right, I've got the meter set on continuity. So if I go on there and there, and obviously I'll move the switch, I should get a reading. But I can't actually get the switch to move, that way it won't go. And this way, it moves, but it doesn't do anything. So I actually can't get the switch to provide continuity in any direction. I can't get that switch to work at all. I could unsolder it, but judging by the look of it, there isn't a lot to be gained by unsoldering it, because apart from just ease of access, but it looks like the only way in is through this metal case which sits on the top. You can bet that when you undo this, it'll be the usual springs and things. But I think that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to try and get underneath here, lift this up, and see if this entire piece will lift off. It's difficult to see, but I've managed to get this just under the edge there, and where it hooks in here and here, it's lifted up and moved away, so there's actually movement there. You might be able to see it. don't know if I could do the same thing this side, because now obviously the pressure's twice as much, but what I did was I got underneath there. Yep, there we go. Oh, and it's doing it again. So yes, so we are actually, you can see, we're opening a gap. Now, why do I bother to do this? Like I said earlier, one of the problems I've had has been getting these sorts of switches. I've actually got one around here somewhere that I bought from China, but it's been very, very difficult to get switches like this that are the same. I can get ones that are similar, but not the same. And considering that they're used, you know, quite popular, you'd think you'd be able to buy the same switch, but I've not had any luck with that. Put that over the top a little bit. And the trouble is now I can't see what, what I'm doing. But nothing could fly away, could it? Okay, what's that? That's just a bit of rubbish. Right, so what have we got? Well, nothing really. Possibly some corroded contacts, but barely. Let's have a look. Little rocker. Another little rocker. They look like they might be silver plated actually. That sits down in there, which doesn't seem to move. Now what are these? Are these contacts underneath? Because if they are, they're very dirty looking. Does that go down onto them? It might do. That would be the centre contacts. Yeah, that could be contacts down there, couldn't it? In which case they... Well, I'm not sure if that's corrosion or dirt, I'm not sure what it is. I'll have to get the magnifying glass on that, but that's definitely not looking that good down there. Let's have a look underneath there. Yeah, no, neither's that. Look, that one's clean, but this one has got all black stuff on it. Let's have a look at this one. Yeah, no, that one's clean, and this one's got all black stuff on it. And then this bit, I don't think that matters whether that's clean or not clean, because I think all that does is rock backwards and forwards. And that sits in that groove there and pushes one side down, so I think it just pushes it's sticking to everything. But I think basically when that moves one way it pushes this side down, and when it moves back the other way it pushes this side down, and so that joins what looks like those two centre pins, but I don't know that they're connected to anything. Oh no, they're there, yeah they are there, so it joins those two centre pins, so either to these two here or those two over there, and they do not look clean. Right, the amount of dirt on these is so little that it's ridiculous, but put some IPA on them, and then there's just a little Dremel brush, but obviously I'm not going to spin it in a Dremel. I think that's about as clean as that's going to get. And I need to do the same on this one. I don't know why it sticks to my fingers, but it does. Put some IPA on that, and just flood that over there. I could use contact cleaner, but this is cleaning a lot lovely, so I don't think I really need to. And if I just touch the surface with this scalpel there, there's nothing there, there's nothing, you know, there's nothing coming off. I'm not scraping anything off, so think we're probably good to go. Yeah, let's see, that's not having any real effect, so hopefully that is as clean as it needs to be. Which leaves us with the only bit that did look a little bit dirty, which is down inside there. I'm not sure how we're going to do that. That's not going to really go in there very well. There's definitely something in there that's a little bit black. And it's interesting because the two contacts at the top of that side are definitely blacker, and this one on this side is blacker, but the other one, so 1 out of 4 is not too bad. But no, I really can't get in with that. I really can't get in here and give it a really good clean. I can't find anything that will fit apart from a tiny little brush, so that's what it's getting, a good brushing with a tiny little brush, and hope for the best, because that's the best I can manage. I must look into buying some tougher bristly brushes, but where you would buy those I do not know. Well, I don't know if it shows, I have to take my word for it, but it's a lot cleaner in there than it was. So IPA and a paintbrush, best I can do. Right, let's see if we can put a bit of this back together. And that's got to be able to rock down there or down there. It doesn't move very much. And then of course the hard part is going to be getting this on without disturbing those, because you can imagine that as you go to push this down, I've got to get that that's got to stay in the middle. If we can bend those out a little bit further. And then bend out a little bit further. Yeah, they will, that's alright. That one's quite a bit further out. Let's see if that one will come out a bit further. Right, so we want that to sit in the middle like that. How do we know? No, it's definitely not sitting in the middle, because how do we know if it's sitting in the middle? We can see definitely it's not. It's trying to turn around as I push it down. Come on, go down. That is a tight fit. Why does that not want to go down? Oh, did that go down? Oh, that does seem to be in the right spot, so if we can get that to squeeze in underneath there, and that to squeeze in underneath there. It's not quite doing it. I need something that can squeeze in on the tips. Alright, this is not a stupid idea if it works. I've got a nut on the end each side of these long nose pliers, which means that I can squeeze right down at the bottom rather than at the sides up here. So I'm trying to get pressure on much further down here. Just move that along a bit, squeeze it. Right, that seems to be on. Now unfortunately I can't, it doesn't feel like it's doing anything when I press that. So I've given up with that idea. I think I'm going to try and reassemble it, and then we'll see if we've got any life. Right, first of all, that's got to go back down into there. And I think it might be better if we can get one side in first. It's really difficult to tell if you've actually got it. Ah, no, I haven't got it in place. What's that one? That's nearly got into place, so why is this one not wanting to go? Oh, there we go. Clicked in. Yep, that's sitting down at the bottom. I think you can just about make out where it should sit, although you can see it's sitting at the bottom there, so I think that's okay. Right, and this going round here like that, right across there. Can't remember. Does it matter which end snaps in? I think it might be better if that end snaps in first, and then down. Right, that's that push back in then, so that seems to be all okay. That's sitting at the top, and then we have this. Does it have to go over there? I think it probably would, wouldn't it? So that must have gone over there. Yeah, I think that must have been where it went. It's got to slide backwards and forwards there because it's got to block this. And that has got to go onto there. And that was going to go on to there. Oh, I think that's gone on. That's one way. That's the other way. Yeah, you can feel the leverage you need to do that obviously comes from there. Right. That gets us to there. Now hopefully that's still up the same way as it was before. Right, what's our battery going to do? That's plus and minus. Right, that's our battery on. Right, cross your fingers and cross your toes. I thought which way worked and what didn't. Oh well, we got a light. When we touch this, look at that. What if we touch that way? Oh, we don't get a light if we touch that way. That's not good. That's going to get caught, isn't it? Come up there. So we got that way. Oh, and we got that way. Ho ho! Could be on the right track here. Right. Now we just need to work out where the rest of the bits go. Right, I'm not going to bother to get rid of that little bit of grease in there because obviously that was all just thrown around from this anyway. Now this must have been that way up because that's where the switch goes. And it was quite a tight fit, wasn't it? I seem to remember it didn't want to come out. Oh, I think that's gone in. Right, now this, that goes down there. So if we get this end in first, that looks like that sits there quite happily. That goes in there, that goes in there, and that's where it folded up because it was a little bit long. Right, and then this fitted in there, but obviously we're going to need to lift this up a fraction to get that in. Can we lift it up a fraction? Let's see if we can get a screwdriver underneath there a little bit. Right, and that went in there, that can come out now, and then that, oh there we go, slots down in there, and obviously that's the bit that was screwed together. Right. Then we've got this which goes on there, but it works this switch, so we need that in there. Now is that going to go through that way? Looks like it does, doesn't it? Oh. Yeah, I reckon that must be it then. Right, so that must go on there. And that's on. All bearings are still in that bit. All bearings still in that bit. Switch is over there. Lock doesn't want to move. Oh. That seems to work better than it did before. Or maybe it's my imagination. Right, now this that's nice and tight. So we should be able to put one of those in on this side as well. It's nice and tight. Right, then we had one that was a bit hidden, didn't we? So that's cleaner looking than the rest, so I'll guess that one goes in there. That goes in there, and that's got some white stuff on it. I'll stick it in that one. No, come on. No, I have to just go in. Sometimes when you turn these back on themselves you can sort of feel a little bump before they go in, so you know they're in the right spot, but I'm not getting that with this one. Yeah, that's going in okay. I think we can probably, let's put this down on the lowest, low setting, not quite the lowest but low. That'll probably do. Right, get that bit of a wipe, but again I'm not going to go too silly about it because it really isn't that bad, is it? Right, so that sat on there, looks okay there. This sat down in there, and that was allowed to pivot like that, which means that that must have sat on top. Like that. Let's get this back. Right, that's the one that goes right through, so that becomes our pivot effectively. So that's our pivot, and they're the two that help hold it together. It's going in nice. Yep, so is that one. Yep, that's fine. And then we've got these two little things. They seem to be even smaller than usual. They're often quite small on electrical things, but they seem very small. That one onto there. Let me just get that and make sure it's pushed down. Yeah, I think that's as far as it's going to go. Well, it wouldn't turn the light on yet, would it? Because I've got a battery in it. No, all the way around. Right. Lock. Unlock. Oh, I see. I get it now. I'd forgotten about that. You push it forward, but if you want the light on, you press the button. Like that. and then when it's back, of course, you can't press it. Now I remember now. That feels a bit more solid than it did before. Maybe that was a bit loose. And there we are, we're back in business. All good. All finished. All working. Job's a good one.